Adi SARDARI towering over Fabiano Silva. Shorter fighter. Well, we'll see from the stats here just how that's worked out.
Tail the tape at 155. Silva is a massive underdog. Of course, the UFD gym plays the Honey Badgers, coming in under the limit, and certainly the shorter fighter at 166 versus 180.
So at 166, I know this myself, you're never going to fight a smaller fighter than you. So all of your technique, all of your equipment is built on fighting taller opposition. And so Fabiano Silva will have that worked out. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Who is going to be smaller than Silva at this weight? So he knows what to do to deal with a big, rangy guy. But big, rangy guy is what SARDARI does. That's his job. He's in his office today, and he will pick off Fabiano Silva at range if he can. But he's done something that's quite interesting, and that's a psychological thing that I notice with taller fighters. They bring themselves down to the level of the smaller man. So it looks now like Silva doesn't really have that much disadvantage, although the leg reach is very painfully obvious.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Silva, having fought at 145, probably could have made 135 once upon a time. But SARDARI is so comfortable at winning rounds, it's always going to be an uphill battle because of that reach disadvantage and the leg disadvantage. And SARDARI is that guy who can finish you late, he can take you long, and he can take you out quick early in any which way.
Taking out quickly. Look at that big right hand he's throwing. Comes from the Netherlands. He'll have studied and trained in the Dutch school of kickboxing, arguably the most dominant style of kickboxing throughout the noughties, the 2010s. I mean, we look at the great K1 champions, Jerome Le Bonheur. We look at Ernesto Hoosh. We look at Peter Ertz. I mean, the Dutch school ruled. So, you know, Semi Schilt, the list is endless of kickboxers that can cause you a problem. Couple that with a guillotine, an RNC, and you've got SARDARI.
I'm liking his footwork. He's got really good shifting footwork. I love it. Stepping into a jab southpaw, going orthodox, into the clinch, little test, but not keen. You know, he's not going to over-engage here. He'll take the path of least resistance. That's what I like about his style.
Silva did very well too. Oh, there's the suplex. Where did that come from? Grabs him from under the crotch, up and over. Bang! SARDARI hits the room. That was unbelievable. And look at the look on SARDARI's face. It's like, hang on a second. I didn't get that memo. So look at the tricks that Silva's got up his sleeve. He's working away. He's been round the block. And SARDARI, well, I think that was a good morning Vietnam for him.
Almost as if to say, this wasn't supposed to happen and I can't believe I'm here. But yes, Silva was smart. You could see one hand was high when he defended the takedown, the other one was low. And he actually scooped underneath the base of SARDARI, which enabled him to get underneath and get that beautiful high amplitude takedown. This is probably his biggest chance. You know, this is one of the ways you can level up in this fight, is to leverage your ground game. And yeah, he might only be a brown belt on paper, but he's got so much, 2 decades of MMA experience, fighting a lot of tough names.
You know the thing about belts, Chris?
It only covers, what, 1.5 inches or 2 around your waist?
I don't know, it just keeps your trousers from falling down.
That too.
None of it means anything when you're in this position. So let's just see how it works. Working well on the top. He's not going to let SARDARI up from here. He's too experienced. As I say, Silva will have done this to tall fighters all day long. He's 37 years of age. He's from Brazil. He probably tried to choke the doctor that delivered him when he was born in the hospital. I mean, you know, these guys have got the DNA. Oh, it's a reset and a restart. So that's not great for Silva. He's going to have to do the hard ground again. But I'm sure he's used to that as well.
Yeah, probably for the ref, too much hand fighting and sitting. You know, he was sitting in half, he was stalling a little bit, and maybe that's the decision after about 90 seconds or 2 minutes for, given the fact that there's no improvement of position to stand things up.
Yeah, great refereeing from Lucic. Keep the action moving, freshen it up. Let's have a reboot, and we're there in the stand-up. Oh, he does very well to get under stuff, Silva. And look at him, he goes down for the leg. Oh, couldn't quite get the takedown. I'm telling you, SARDARI is good to defend that. There was numerous attacks on the leg, but just look at this. Silva's going in.
That was gorgeous. Head inside single, ran him straight to the fence, went around the waist, got the go around to the back after collapsing him. I think SARDARI's a little bit surprised, actually.
Yeah, he's a bit rabbit in the headlights, isn't he? After that first takedown where he was suplexed down. I mean, this is not a drill, and I think he's slowly realizing this.
And Silva can do this. You know, it looks like he's been training, he's been coaching. Yeah, he was on a losing streak, but you know, he knows what the test is at hand. He knows how to prepare for a fight. Nice pummel there from SARDARI. Working his right arm in, looks up to check the clock. It is kind of that look of, this wasn't what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, well, sometimes the math doesn't always add up, you know. We know 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, but sometimes you get Fabiano where 2 and 2 are 5.
And he's a huge underdog here. We were seeing him as high as plus 500, SARDARI minus 700, so big dog was SILVA. I think SARDARI is probably asking himself, where did it go wrong? Because he had his way on the feet. You know, he was landing some good combinations, really dominating the cage. The footwork was very steady. These little half steps. There's nothing too deep. Switching up to the inside there. Again, you know, good read in the pocket. His eyes are wide open, making little adjustments. Nice catch there from SILVA, goes high. Look at a little trick from SARDARI just to get his heel loose and get it out. And now in on the takedown, SILVA. This is where he found success. Here's the first, high amplitude with the feet above the head as he hits the mat. And then the boxing on the inside to the second takedown.
But look at the way Fabiano ducks under. He ducked under a big right hand earlier, just on the wire, and then that high kick, he manages to go low so quickly. And that bodes very badly for SARDARI, because it means he can shoot low, get under the waist, and if he does that, well, yeah, I think the look on SARDARI's face says it all. You know, tidy boxing, smart footwork, very effective grappling game. He's got all that. His signature win is that narrow title defense against Donovan Desmay back in Cage Warriors 1-2-1. It was a 5-round split decision where his jab, takedowns and cagecraft edged a very similar game challenger. But look at this. This is unbelievable. Fabiano's jumped his back.
Literally off the kick catch again. You know, it was nice because he caught it and actually cupped the heel, raised it up, kind of like a treetop on a single. Is perfect. And SARDARI is just, I think, befuddled here as to how this would be so easy for SILVA to get a hold of him and do that, but he did it.
Fabiano got on him like he was the 745 out of Waterloo. He just jumped on him like it was a train, and he's on him now like Velcro. It's incredible. Fabiano just creates this chaos from nowhere. Una bella casino, beautiful chaos. We see it just performed right in front of you there.
Very smart, and he needs to hide his head here. Those elbows are unnecessary from SARDARI. This is the game. He has back exposure. SARDARI is trying to build up his base and use the fence a little bit and fight, make it a little bit uncomfortable for SILVA to settle. Now this is better for SILVA. The head is protected. He may be in danger of a figure 4 counter. I'm not sure if SARDARI is trying to go for a double wrist lock here, or if he's just trying to break the grips. Now the ref is asking for action, but in my view, he's got to let this play out because this is what's at play. Beautiful, picks the ankles, passes cleanly. Regard attempt here from SARDARI, gets to his knees. Now goes for the front headlock to SILVA, in beneath the base, off the failed submission attempt. Good defense here from SARDARI, and he gets back up to his feet. That's transition fighting.
That's high level rolling. Anyone that's into grappling, anyone that's into BJJ, just those transitions, I mean, that was almost like a flow workout. Beautifully choreographed. I mean, majestic, balletic, high level, contrasting, conflicting styles here at play. And you've got to remember the height disadvantage that Fabiano is giving away here. You know, SILVA is much shorter as a fighter, and really, it should be SARDARI all the way, but he's making inroads now, and this could mark a difference in approach.
It started with that elbow, Will. It was a cheeky little elbow there from SARDARI, finding holes here. SILVA is very fixated on getting the takedown because he found success multiple times. He's had high finishing ratio. The problem is, on the in and out in the clinch, there's other things at play. This is not just pure grappling, and SARDARI tagged him.
He gets punished on the way out, doesn't he, SILVA? You know, SARDARI, take that with you when you go, and that's what's causing the damage. But he's tough, he's durable, SILVA. He's still in there, and he's still making opportunities and tying up SARDARI. Oh, the elbow, though, he's punishing. Oh, the knee strike. I thought it was a drop, but actually he feinted to go for the shoot.
Beautiful sprawl here. SARDARI read it. Lovely. Gets his hips out. Not quite the perfect dig. I think he kind of had an over-under there and caught the snap and avoided SILVA from getting underneath him to complete the takedown. He's making the adjustments he needs to here to shut down the potential compromising positions from the Brazilian.
Oh, Silva is like a bag of eels, isn't he? He is so hard to pin down. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Quite a bit of SARDARI's work is sticking and hanging in there, but Silva is able to create just escape routes, inroads, but needs to have a care because SARDARI's now up the ante, starting to bring a lot more pressure and starting to bring a lot more payload.
And he's relaxed. That's the thing I like about SARDARI. I've never seen him uptight in this fight. You know, even just holding on, seeing what Silva was going to do. He could have tried to pass, he could wait, he could try to kick a leg. There's a lot of options for SARDARI, and that's one of his biggest strengths.
This could quite end up being one of the best fights of the evening here. You know, we've seen some finishes, strong finishes, but this, in terms of class, in terms of the game, is just beautiful to watch. It really is. The cut and thrust, the to and fro, all of that makes those magical contrasts in style. Just look at that guillotine. Silva holds his man, and don't forget to put a guillotine on a man that's so much taller than you. But then SARDARI slips it, then with the underhooks there tries to gain control. It's beautiful to watch.
It really is. Yeah, it's the full spectrum of MMA, and it's done with technique and timing and heart. And both guys are fighting.
Yeah, elbow, take that with you when you go. Lines up a reverse one, but thinks better of it. 10-second clapper. I can't believe that round has gone so quickly. Fast speed on that right hand. Silva was lucky to get out of the way of that.
Even a little attempt at a foot sweep there. I mean, SARDARI is in there just playing, you know. Don't get me wrong, he's fighting, but sometimes we see fighters in these types of fights just, it does look like a sparring match. That's not the case here.
Oh, it's not at all. This is high level. And to see clinical, clean technique play at this level, you know, it really is Formula One here. This is not a drive in the country. You know, this is Formula One. To even attempt at some of these.
Here is what I was talking about with that beautiful catch. You can see how he immediately just gets the grip and pushes the heel so high. Literally fells him with that takedown. Leaps on the back, and SARDARI at the beginning of the round just couldn't believe it. But Silva took some big elbows, eventually protected his head, and SARDARI got out of there and then started to do work. I really feel like SARDARI took over in this round, despite Silva making it entertaining. Well, and there the end. Good dirty boxing on the inside.
Well, given SARDARI's youth, recent high-level activity, tactical discipline, he should be faster everywhere, and he is. And better at managing the minutes. You said it right at the beginning that he wins rounds. Optimism. If SARDARI gets sloppy in transitions, Silva has enough experience to capitalise. We go to the third and final round of 3 in this lightweight bout. RG SARDARI takes on Fabiano Silva, and I mean, this is Brazil takes on Iran, but Brazil via Dusseldorf, Germany, and Iran via the Netherlands. Third round, it's been up and at 'em right from the get-go.
And SARDARI is definitely cruising along here. You can see him just leaning into the boxing, moving his head off the center line, the good hand fight. Silva, I think, is starting to get a little tired, and that was one of the key things. He's had double the career. A lot of MMA miles on Silva, Will.
He fights southpaw SARDARI, and that staccato right hand is so fast, punishingly fast. Doesn't recoil it, he seems to just pump it out, and it has the desired effect. So that's short distance, short range attack, almost like having an Uzi as opposed to having a Bren gun. Do you know what I mean? He's just able to fire off those shots at really short range.
You bet. It's definitely the kind of volume that he's able to get off in those short openings. And the clinch has been so important, this kind of close range where a lot of fighters underestimate what can happen. And SARDARI is a great case study because he finds so many little sneaky channels to get in. Kicks, punches, knees, elbows, all that stuff.
Yeah, the high kick goes in. Silva smiles. You can take it. Durable. He might be tired. 37 years of age. Let's give the man props. But he's hanging in there. And SARDARI now is up the ante. The pressure is consistent. It's constant. And it's powerful. It's tough.
And it's world class, you know, it's technical. It's very technical. Everything's made to measure. This is definitely the sum of a well-rehearsed game plan and indeed many, many, many hours with specific drills and pad work and cage work.
I love the way Fabiano Silva slips the big shots just millimetrically. SARDARI throws them and Silva reads them and he just gets under them. Some power in those shots. He got tagged with that. just manages to lean the right way to cover up, but now he's starting to take too many, too often, too cleanly on the inside. SARDARI looking lemon fresh compared to SILVA, who's just looking a little bit ring worn.
And that's tough to do, you know. This has been a high-paced fight, if you will, excuse me. And in many ways, SARDARI has just been so efficient with what he's chosen to throw and when he's chosen to throw it. Whereas SILVA is so focused on getting grips in some of these positions, has left him open to taking damage. And at the end of the day, the name of the game is to hit and not get hit.
Oh, left, right, that was a cheeky livener. And again, SILVA needs to be careful, needs to keep that guard up. He's getting tagged too often. 2 minutes left in this round. He's tough, but he could get stopped. Goes for the shoot. Beautiful sprawl. SARDARI out there, almost like a snow angel. Forces the legs wide, forces the arms wide, spoils SILVA's shoot. Shoot from SILVA. Can it manifest itself into something? And yes, it does. He turns his man beautifully, tries to pass, gets held, but he's working so well.
Yeah, he really is one of those guys that's never going to be out of the fight. There's no question that he can probably find a Hail Mary, which is why I was so surprised at the spread in the odds. He's a massive underdog, but it's a volatile fight when he's still in it. Good top of control here. I think SARDARI is going to try to go for the figure four counter, Will.
You spoke about the calmness of SARDARI. He's almost in a zone of zen. Just look at the eyes. It's kind of like the Matrix. He's seeing everything in binary code. So relaxed, so unformulated in what he's doing here. He's just responding and allowing the flow. I mean, his eyes almost glaze over like a shark. It's incredible to watch. And this is great flow here because it's all millimetric. Hips, knees, ankles, feet, hands, posting, all of that is coming into play here, and it's changing the dynamic every movement.
Exactly, yeah, it has absolutely been a very dynamic fight, and like you said, calm under fire, calm under pressure. SILVA is just trying to go for broke here to settle position, to get into a position where he can float and get the weight working and maybe even just get a breather. But SARDARI, like you said, was rocking and trying to always hip out, always rock back and forth to get underneath, to try to fight grips. And it's these type of fights where the younger, fitter fighter can start to get an advantage, the more physically conditioned fighter, because it's exhausting.
10-second clapper. They're going to do it. They're going to go all the way. It's going to go to judges' scorecards. I think it's going to be tighter than we think it is. I think so. SARDARI's definitely done it. That, for me, would be the right decision. But I think it's closer than we think. I can't determine any really clean strikes from SARDARI. Obviously, the takedown attempt, it depends on how the judges want to score it, what they value.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have gone into this thinking minus 700, plus 500 as the spread on the odds and then watch this fight. But SARDARI, here we go. I mean, this for me was where he was at his best, was in the clinch, Will. All of those sneaky little shots, the knees, the punches, the elbows, but not all of them were landing clean. That knee did, but the one before didn't. And SILVA, you know, again, leaning back out of the pocket and avoiding the worst, the sting of the kick, if you will. But SARDARI, the more complete fighter, and I believe the more effective fighter, and the fighter who's going to win this fight. And some very entertaining rounds, like you said.
Yeah, tiredness seeps in, but look at the comeback from SILVA. Strong enough to turn his man and then get up on top and start to work from the top. And he's always trying to finish SILVA, never rested. It was restarted a couple of times. I think that was unfortunate for SILVA because he had good positioning and could have advantaged himself, but good decision making for the flow of the fight from referee Lucic. Let's see how the judges scored it. It's going to be tight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of those 3 completed rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards where we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges in agreement with your winner in the red corner, the Wolverine, SARDARI!
Well, not as close as I kind of had it pitched, I have to say. Unanimous decision there for SARDARI, but I'm a lover of the underdog, and yeah,